pay me $5,000 because last year your company did $1 million in revenue. Last month we did $4 million in revenue, and we collected $2.9 million. That's why you paid me $5,000. And he said the words that changed my life. As I promise you, these words stick in my head. They stuck in my head, and that's when I said I could never let somebody put a value on me again.
You are now listening to the Going North podcast, where you'll receive tips and techniques to advance yourself. I'm your host, Dom Brightman, and every week we're going to be hearing from an author who's going to share their expertise to help you charge forward in life. On a quick side note, be sure to check out Going North the book. It's available in ebook, audio, as well as paperback form for those who love to read a traditional book. Now let's get on with the show.
And today on the legendary Going North podcast, we have, you guessed it, another author, but not just any author. This author right here is not only legendary, he's also a visionary. But not just a visionary, he's a gifted visionary. And this wonderful author right here is on a mission to change how the world perceives beauty. This guy himself, he is not only an author, he's a former athlete, a fragrance artist, performer, and entrepreneur. And he's also a D.C. native, so we got some DMV action going on here as well. And he also began writing poetry at 8 years old, so you are going to be in for one heck of a treat, because this guy right here is also the COO of the NWO. And no, I'm not talking about Hulk Hogan and Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. I'm talking about the New Wealth Order. And you're probably wondering who this is. It's the one and only Gerald Dubose. How are you today, sir?
Hey, man, I am better than I should be and not as good as I will be, Dom. I'm excited to be here with you, brother. Let's get it rocking and rolling, man.
Rocking and rolling indeed. Man, in a short time before the recording actually started, my man was just going. And even met you at the conference and everything back at Sir Charles Carey's event on Labor Day weekend. Like, oh, man, this is freaking awesome. Probably one of the most creative businessmen I've ever met this year, easily. I mean, it's like, I just shot you a text message like, hey, there you go, there's my information. It's in your phone forever, and I get to save a tree.
Yes, it's all about, we got to save some trees, man. It's not enough shade in this world. That's why it's so hot. we got to get a little bit more shade, man. Everywhere there's a tree, they're cutting it down.
Yeah, let's make sure it's shade from the trees and not shades from people, right?
yeah. People use shade in the incorrect way. That's the problem. Shade is meant to cool you off, not heat you up. So they do it wrong.
Man, amen to that, indeed. So just gave a short introduction to the wonderful Gerald. So mind filling in the gaps with whatever I missed, because it's amazing that you went from writing poetry at 8 years old all the way to COO of your own company.
Yeah, well, that's a long, winding road. But, you know, I am a product of D.C., born and raised here. Grew up in Northeast D.C., went to H.D. Woodson Senior High School. It used to be called the Tower of Power. Now it's the office building of power, because it looks like an office building. But but I am a devoted warrior. Shout out to all my warriors out there. And I had the good fortune of going there when they had the public-private partnership program going on for business and finance. So I became enamored with business at a young age as well. We had a partnership with Fannie Mae, and we were having to develop products and things like that. So that piqued my interest. I was always interested in making my own money because I knew I didn't want to stay where I grew up at. Okay, this is not my life. This is not what my life is going to be like, not the whole time. And going from that, I ended up being having plenty of scholarships for school. Unfortunately, my two oldest brothers passed my senior year in high school. One at the beginning, one at the end. And my mother had several strokes, so Gerald had to stay home. Gerald wasn't going anywhere at the time. I was engaged as well. That didn't work out, but when the two most important women in your life don't want you to go somewhere, you keep your butt at home. That's what happened. So I went to work, and I went to work for a computer IT company. I was an accounts manager, came out of high school making about $40,000 a year. Fast forward a few years, did several different things in marketing after I left that company, after that company went out of business. And I found myself at 25 years old sitting there as a marketing director working for a company making about 180. I made 185 that year. And I thought life was set, but I ended up having a conversation with the owner, and I kind of got pushed into entrepreneurship like a lot of people do. That I'm not going to jump because this is comfortable over here. And he kind of reminded me, oh, no, bro, it's not that comfortable. I'll go a little further in depth into that story later. But, yeah, so I got pushed into my first business at the age of 26 years old. And right when I turned 27 I turned 27 to not even 3 days after I started my company. So I've been in business since January 2002. That started with 1, has grown to 7 in 2019.
Wow, lots and lots of pushes outside the comfort zone there. So that's really powerful right there, and traumatic too. Losing two of your older brothers in senior year of high school. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. That was really hard. Yeah, especially on my mother. Because I'm the youngest of 9, technically 10. But my twin died at birth, and I guess God said can't be 2 of him. So I'm gonna take one back right now. Let me correct this right now. So, yeah. So my mom took it really hard when they passed away, and it led her to having some strokes, and it was hard on me as well. I was very close. We have a very close family, so it was a difficult time for everybody.
Amen for close families, because that makes struggles not as hard as they could be. Amen to that.
Indeed.
Well, so going down the road to being forced into business, so how'd that push in the pool go of entrepreneurship?
Okay. All right. This story is pretty simple. I went to work for a company, and I was their marketing director. And there were 3 owners. One I was friends with, one that we didn't get along at all from years and years ago, and another one that was kind of just there. He was a silent, present partner. It's hard to be silent and present, but that was him. He was kind of like, okay, you're there, but you're not there. Shut up, get in the corner, even though you own a piece of the company. So my friend is the one that drew me to the business, and he asked me to come work. And when I heard who he was partnered with, I said, oh, no. Nope, I don't want to do that. No, thank you. And he's like, no, I'll keep him away from you. Look, I really need your help. We're really trying to build this thing. So I go to work there. And now I told you that I made $180,000 that year. Base salary was $20,000. All my money was made in bonus and incentives, which was the way they set it up, because he didn't want to pay me. The guy that didn't like me definitely didn't want to pay me a lot of money to come. Cool. The problem became that I was really killing it. They went from having 2 offices to 6 offices within 4 months.
Wow.
And by the end of the year, I was just making ridiculous money. I was making ridiculous money. And I'd been in all the meetings with the owners up until then. And I get a call, and it's the one I don't like. And I hear my friend Tom in the background. He says, "Hey, don't do it." So I know this is about to be bad, right?
Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy.
And so Rick says, "Hey, Gerald, we paid you $5,000 in override." I said, "Yeah." "Why, yes, you did. Thank you very much." Now, for people that don't understand what override is a percentage you get of the sales that usually goes to management, upper-level management, on the gross sales of a business. So he said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, you paid me. Thank you very much." And he asked me a very simple question. I will keep it PG-13, but he said, "Why the bleep did we just pay you $5,000? Now, I told you I didn't get a chance to go away to college. I stayed home. But I'm misleading a little bit because I did go to SWU, and I got a PhD from there. And for all of y'all that don't know, it's not St. Wharton's. It's Sidewalk University School of Hard Knocks. And I graduated with a degree in difficulty. So when you come at me, just for no reason, yes, we graduate with attitudes. And I said, okay, you pay me $5,000 because when you are laying your fat behind in the bed at 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm already in the office opening up. You paid me $5,000 because when you roll over at 8:30, 9 o'clock and decide you want to call the office, I'm able to tell you what's going on in Chicago, Nebraska, St. Louis, Indiana, Florida, none of which, including Maryland and Virginia as well, 5 of which you didn't have before I sat my behind in this chair to be your marketing director. You paid me $5,000 because last year your company did $1 million in revenue. Last month we did $4 million in revenue, and we collected $2.9 million. That's why you paid me $5,000. And he said the words that changed my life. As I promise you, these words stick in my head. They stuck in my head, and that's why I said I could never let somebody put a value on me again. He said, I'll pay you. I'll see you make $100,000, $150,000. Heck, I'll see you make $170,000 worth a year. But I don't care how much money you make me, and he didn't say care. He dropped the F-bomb. I will never, ever see you make $200,000 working here.
Wow.
If that doesn't give you perspective, nothing in the world will, right?
Oh, my gosh.
So I said, fine. As of Monday, you find yourself a new marketing director. And he said, no, you can't quit. He was like, I told you we're getting ready to renegotiate how you get paid. I said, oh, no. See, what you don't understand is, in order for that to happen, I have to sign a new contract. And by you wanting me to change my pay rate, I'm not going to sign a new contract. I thank you for the opportunity, and I thank you for releasing me to my freedom, which was pretty bold because I didn't have a plan. You know, they call it freedom, and I think they call it because when you get free, you get real dumb real quick, and I think that's why they call it freedom. Because I was real dumb at that moment because I did not know what I was going to do. I just knew I couldn't take that, right? I started formulating a plan, though, and said I was going to start my own company. So I called everybody that was working with me, let them know what was going on. I called my executive assistant. I called the sales managers. I called all the crews, the project managers. I called all the crew chiefs. I called all the sales guys. I let the marketing department know that I'm leaving. And here's the thing. I never got an opportunity to do this thing as a solo entrepreneur. 15 people left with me. So here I am, a 26-year-old kid with just a dream of building something, but I got 15 grown people that believe in the vision just as much as I do, so I couldn't let it fail. And that was how I got pushed in entrepreneurship. It's a lot to the story, brother. It's a lot.
Wow. Well, oh my gosh. Yeah, they're trying to put a ceiling on your wealth, and you're like, nope, you ain't doing that to me.
No, man. It just wasn't, it didn't sit right with me. If I can make you, and this is actually the last thing I ever said to him before I saw him 3 years later. I said, listen, if I can make you $27 million in a year, I can make me one, net 35% of that, and take home net 35% of that, and take home 50% of that, and never have to answer to you like anybody like you ever again in my life.
That is true, and that takes courage indeed. That takes courage indeed, and it's great that you did that because you're able to just shift your mind into that perspective. Like, hey, even though you're out on your own and you got these folks that believe in you, these 15 adults, it's like, hey, you just put yourself out to the fire and you do as like Tony Robbins like to say, you just burned your boats.
Shoot, burn the boats. I don't think I had a boat to start with. So.
Oh,
hey man, I'm going to be the fun interview. Don't worry about that. I'm going to be the fun one.
I'm all for the fun interviews. Those are the better ones.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
Wow. So with those 15 folks following you, what leadership lessons did you learn from that experience now that you're out on your own and with this big vision, this big dream, and you have these folks with you? I'm pretty sure you picked up some leadership abilities from that on the spot.
Well, the first thing was I like to say that everybody has a voice, but I had the choice. And that means I allowed everybody to give input into creating this thing because they were coming to help me build my dream. So if there are things that you consider, things that you want to try to implement for your department and how you would like it to happen, let's talk about it. However, I do reserve the right, because my name is on this thing, to say which things are approved and which things are not. And we will talk about it as a group. We will vote on it, and we will go forward. So the first thing was to allow people to feel like they are part of the growth, and they were. They literally were. So they were part of building it, not just, here, do what I say. No, here's an opportunity. What do you think? And I think that created a culture that, across my 7 companies, man, we have a 98% retention ratio. Wow. Most of the people that we hire don't leave. And the people that have left, I feel like we did something right, because none of them left to go to another job. They all became business owners. Nobody left to go to work. Everybody left to do their business.
That is very amazing right there. That is powerful indeed. A 98% retention rate.
Hire the right people, man.
That is A+ right there, man.
Hire the right people, brother.
That's true. Hire smart, fire fast, right? If you have to get to that point, right?
Yeah, I prefer not to have to fire.
Ice, I got you.
Yes, ice, baby. I mean, seriously, it's in the hiring process that a lot of people mess it up, because a lot of people are looking to hire people just based on their skills. And that means nothing. It's helpful, but it means it's not the biggest thing in a corporate, in a company, is that, of course, you want people that can do the job. So them not having any skills, they can't get hired anyway. But the skill is not the most important. It's who the person is and how they fit in with the environment that you've created. You can bring the wrong person into a great environment and it won't work. And everything will start to fall down because of that one wrong person. That's where they get that one bad apple spoils the bunch thing. It's true, especially in a business. It's like a cancer. It spreads.
You're right about that. You are right about that. It could be like a cancer, like a poison. Then the whole field of green apple trees, it just turns into a bunch of old prunes out of nowhere.
It can. It will destroy it. It will destroy it.
Well, with being a great leader, visionary, and entrepreneur, any advice for those who are thinking about getting into entrepreneurship at the moment? They may be full-time or they may be like a part-time employee and are looking to really just get that confidence to actually start their business.
Absolutely. I would say know what you want. Most people just start there. Know what you want. And because when you know what you want, you know why you want it, right? Because if you really want something, you have a reason why you want it. And that would be the second thing. Understand why you want it. You know, the want to for it. Why do you want that thing? What is the real reasoning behind it? Because if it's just to make money, then you shouldn't go into business. I'm sorry. You can find plenty of ways to make money because that will not keep you motivated. It will find you frustrated instead of motivated. You know, know the reason that you are doing this. It's very, very important because that's what people are going to buy into, right? They're going to buy into that story. What made you do it? Why you're doing this thing? That's what makes people want to get on the bandwagon. It's from your clients to your inner circle to your mentors. Everybody is attracted to that clear passion that you have for it, the reasoning behind the company. So be clear on what you want and be clear on why you want
it. Classic right there. Kind of goes straight out of your book. That's some wise wine right there.
Oh yes, that's wise wine. I can't take credit. That's something from the parents right there. I can't take credit for that one. But yeah, wise wine.
Awesome indeed. Awesome indeed. So with your wonderful book, The Formula for Success, being this is probably your third book. What led to the publishing of this book itself and getting it out there?
Well, what led to the publishing for The Formula for Success was I had been in business for obviously a long time when I wrote that book in 2017, and I just wanted to give something practical to people because people look at success like it's this big complicated thing, like how do I get there? How do I achieve? What do I need to do? Who do I need to know? I said, okay, well, there's a basic formula that I see in the patterns of me studying, you know, professional development, successful people, and the way that they look at things. It's from a simple perspective. And I always say that the book was written in a simple form. Heck, you have the book. It's very simple. But simple is not easy. I want people to understand that. Simple does not mean easy. What simple should be synonymous with, it should be synonymous with discipline. Simple means you have a disciplined way of approaching things. That's why it's simple. You're just going to have to be disciplined. And once you understand the things you need to do, then you apply it over and over and over and over again. You can achieve whatever you want. Heck, if a little kid from Northeast D.C. with a PhD from Sidewalk University can own 7 companies and talk to the guys from Harvard and Yale and tell them how to move their businesses forward, there's no reason why anybody can't.
Very true indeed, and amen to that. Sidewalk University.
You're going to have a bunch of little sayings after this, I can tell.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you had some wrestling moments where they gave you some of the sidewalk slams on Sidewalk University, metaphorically speaking. I had some slams, man. I mean, it has not been all peaches and cream up here, believe me. Shoot, starting the first company, I lost everything. I lost my house, I lost my relationship. It was a lot that went into it. Like I said, this is just very abbreviated stuff, and I'm just answering the questions accordingly. So continue on, Brother Dom. Oh, man. So it's really great that you're still here today and just having 7 businesses. And it kind of goes to show with, like, a lot of things I'm noticing with a lot of millionaires is that a lot of them tend to lose their first fortune before getting back and even emboldening their next fortune.
That's true. That's true. A lot of them do because they understand how to do it. Because if you can do it once, you can do it again, and that's why it comes down to understanding the steps, understanding the process. They understand the process, and I wrote this book so that more people can understand the process and make it practical for them. Not talk pie in the sky. Let's talk grassroots. Here are steps you can take. Boom, boom, boom. And that's why I wanted to write the book, because it's time for people to have an opportunity to really live the life they want to live. And so many people talk about this whole mindset thing. Oh, your mindset. You hear it over and over in professional development. Mindset. You hear it. To me, personally, it's never even about your mindset. It's about your heart set. Where is your heart at? What is your heart set on? Because if you can set your heart on something, there's nothing your brain can do to stop it. Because the one organ in your body that your brain does not control is your heart. You can never tell your heart to stop beating. Why do we stay in bad relationships? Why do we go places where we know we shouldn't go? Because we feel like we need to be there. So when that feeling is stronger than your thought, stronger than the fear, you find a way. So I'm all heart set over mindset. It's my mentality.
Now that is powerful right there. It's always great when folks add a new school of thought to the old school, or at least the tried and true, or something that's kind of the current norm or tradition. You're right. It's like you really can't physically tell your heart to stop being. You can do it over time by what you eat and all that other naughty negative stuff. But you're right. It's like it's really about your heart, because your emotions are really powerful, and that's really what drives most of the decisions.
Absolutely. EQ over IQ. Emotional intelligence over brain intelligence all day. You get sharp with your EQ, you'll be fine.
Amen to that indeed. Amen to that indeed. So with all of your mass knowledge and experience, and you woke up tomorrow and you were the age of 25, once again, in the age of 2018, but you kept all of your experience and knowledge, what advice would you give to yourself?
Enjoy the ride. Because it's been a blitz of, it's been so fast that I don't think I've even appreciated it as much as possible. And that's one reason why I started wrote the book too, to kind of appreciate the journey, to kind of talk about where I came from and how I got here. It sometimes you get so caught up in doing, you forget to enjoy. I would tell myself to enjoy the ride.
Some more good wine right there. Some more wise wine right there. Gonna get drunk on all this knowledge.
Hey, man, it's a drink limit. It's a drink limit now. We can't have you go home drunk.
You're right. Pass out on the floor with a freaking fizz in my head and whatnot. Where did you get the fizz from? It was from the wisdom.
Hey, brother, man. If you can take something from this conversation, great. And if your audience can take something from it, phenomenal. I mean, that's the whole reason why we have these conversations. We're supposed to have these conversations.
Amen to that. And for those who want to keep up with all that you're doing and drink more from your wonderful well of knowledge and keep up with the NWO, known as the New Wealth Order, how can we keep in contact with you?
Well, that's pretty easy. You can find me on the space we like to call cyber. You can find me at thenewwealthorder.com. THE New Wealth, not New World, New Wealth Order. We're the other NWO.com. You can find me on social media everywhere. Gerald, like Levert, Gerald, or Gerald Ford, but I don't drive one of them either. Last name Dubose, D as in David, U, B as in Bob, O, S, E. No I am he. No, not Du Bois, Dubose. So Gerald Dubose, everywhere on social media. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. That's it. Not too hard to find me in the space that we like to call cyber.
There we go, folks. For the folks out there, go out there and follow and keep up with all that the good Gerald is doing. Get some of that wise wine. Just make sure you're not driving when you're drinking it in. And keep on heading north, baby.
Yes, head north. Appreciate you. Appreciate this, Dom. It was great. Thank you so much.
Woohoo! My pleasure. Any parting words for the folks listening in their cars and the homes and whatnot?
I will close with what I've always closed with. Every show that I've ever done, stage, radio, doesn't matter. We choose what type of life we have by the choices that we make. So I hope you all choose to be exceptional.
Hey there, buddy. Looks like you made it to the end of this episode. Since you made it to the end of this episode, do both of us a favor and stop being greedy. Stop it right now and share this episode with your friends and your fellow podcast lovers.